Angela, you're one of my parents. Tell me a little bit about yourself, how you came to the school, what you do, why is this discussion about our kids and COVID going back to school so important to you? Let's start there.
Okay, it's so important. First of all, my name is Angela Henry. I'm the mother of Kevin Henry. A lot of you guys know the old man of the school. I've been with you guys for about 5 years, just about. And I'm a pediatric nurse at Washington Hospital Center. Okay. It's so important now, you guys, to know that Miss Anika made the best decision that you can possibly make for our school. The surge for COVID is rising high. Just this past week, a lot of the parents have, everybody's going back to school. PG County goes back tomorrow. A lot of schools have already been in session 3 weeks to a month before we have.
Yes.
And when I tell you weekly, just the first week when Virginia schools went back, that first week, parents were bringing their children in because of exposure.
Yes.
That's just from someone in the classroom who've had exposure.
Yeah.
And now that child has exposure. So they have to come to me. I have to swab that child.
Yep.
That child cannot go back to school. So that's a disruption in education.
Yes. There you go.
Okay. So now they got to figure out, because now no one's online.
Yes.
So they don't have laptops. They've all returned their laptops back to school. Mm-hmm. So this child is coming back home, not doing anything. The parent has to leave work.
Yep.
Okay. So now they're letting the child go back to school the next week. So this parent brought the child back to school next week. And the next child in the school had exposure because they went to a cookout and 25 of their family members tested positive when they went out of town. Came back to school, that same parent coming back to me again, bringing the child. And now they have to stay home for additional 14 days, get swabbed again.
Wait a minute, but no schooling because there's no online school. They're just schooling 14 days. No.
Exactly. No schooling, and no online schooling because now they're not set up because they have taken that away from the kids because they thought just coming back into classroom was okay. So this child is now 2 weeks out of being taught anything because now they're not online because they're not set up and they have to get swabbed. So they have to stay home.
Yeah.
Came back one time this last week, came back again. Had to get swabbed again because now I have to swab them so they can get a negative PCR so they can go back to school.
Yep.
That takes 2 days to come back.
Yeah.
So now to a month. And when I tell you this is going to be the cycle this whole year, because our children are not vaccinated.
They're not vaccinated.
So our teachers.
Yeah.
Even our teachers, some of the teachers are not mandated.
Yeah.
To be vaccinated.
Yeah.
And it's important for us not to go to school. They're not listening to the doctors and they're not listening to the nurses.
Nope.
And they're allowing the kids to be jeopardized.
Yeah. Not just jeopardized physically, but educationally, emotionally, this back and forth. It's very, children do best in a stable situation. There's a story of, I can't remember what district it was, but there's a story, it's not here in the DC area, but there's a story about a teacher masked up, but she was reading a story to her students. She decides to just pull down her mask a little bit to read a story to her children and infected most of the kids in her class with COVID because she had COVID.
Exactly.
So you can't even manage teachers who want to be irresponsible or might be a little bit careless. Wonderful teachers, loving people, but man, I'll just pull this down really quick and do X, Y, Z. It's just until all of us are vaccinated, or most of us are vaccinated, until children are vaccinated, it's a gamble, and I just don't think it's worth it. I think one of the things that troubles me is seeing the pictures of back to school and kids going to school, and I'm just like, you all are allowing yourself to go into an unstable situation. You can take authority of this situation.
You really can, and they're happy now, but give it a moment. Everybody is like this now, but in a month, it's going to be a whole different scenario. And I'm not just worrying about just exposure in the classroom.
Yes.
Mind you, your student is there all day. They have to go to the restroom.
Yeah.
The restrooms are already not sanitary like they need to be.
Right.
So your children are doing whatever they want to in that stall. They're coughing in their hands and then they're touching those knobs.
Yeah.
Then your children are going behind them, touching the doors. No one is in there 24 hours a day. I know for sure.
Right.
These schools are not sanitizing those doorknobs, those handles every day, and every minute a child leaves out of there. So that's even another safe practice. And then one of my parents actually had a complaint for the doctors and saying that her school was supposed to have lunch outside, but her daughter had came home and said, well, Mom, you know, we're in a room with all of us and we don't have any masks and we're eating. She said, well, I thought you guys the school told me that you guys were going to be eating outside until the winter and they were going to come up with another plan in the winter. So the mother didn't even know. The only reason why she knew is because the child came home and told on the school, was like, oh no, mom, we were in the classroom. We didn't have on any masks. We were eating just, you know, so that means here we go.
And the thing about it is, people will accuse me and us of being paranoid, you know, but this is a healthy caution. It's exactly. Just it's not paranoia, it's logic. You can see how easy it is to catch this virus.
Exactly. I mean,
you know that all these hundreds of thousands of children are not vaccinated.
Yes.
You know that even if you are vaccinated, you can get it again. There's variants that are out. You can see by the just common sense that things are not quite under control, even though the government may be doing one other thing. And even though you may be tired or you may need them to go back to school, this is not magically going to get better just because you're tired of this virus. This virus does not care about what we want. We are.
Oh, no, and it has no color. Nope. It has no age. It has nothing. It's hitting all genres of people. It's hitting everyone.
And children are actually dying from this virus.
I mean, the hospitals. Yeah, hospitals are crowded now. So if your children just have something like an asthma attack, they can't even go to the hospitals now because they are so packed with children who have COVID and they're at their capacity.
Yeah.
So it's imperative, you guys, that we don't come back to school.
We don't. And I really want to encourage you. There's some options. This is not just about looking into Living Water School. You don't have to. I've been talking to parents just out of a love for children of ways to homeschool. Join your local homeschool group, just homeschool, make sure they're reviewing reading and math and writing to keep those skills up, and just find creative ways to keep their skills up during this COVID and keep them home.
Exactly.
We can talk more about that at another time, or look into some online schools. There's a lot of online schools.
It's a lot of options.
You have Schola Academy, which is, you have K-12 education. Abeka has an online program. There are so many online schools. You can take authority. Even if you have to use your credit card to pay that tuition, it's so much worth it.
Exactly.
In an online school or do a homeschooling situation to keep your children safe. You do not have to send your child to school.
And if you do, Anika, you know, they're also, I'm sorry, but they're also, you know, us as a nurse and doctors, they're telling the parents to get a form that you can fill out so we can excuse the children. Yes. So the parents are coming in, but us as nurses and doctors, we're saying no to that because we cannot say you have to have some serious illnesses. You can't come saying that my child is tired of wearing a mask. Right. My child has asthma. I mean, they really have to be sick in order for us to sign this pass. Wow. In order for you guys not to go to school. And the parents are going to get in trouble if they don't allow their children to go to school. They have to go to school.
They have to go to school. That's why I'm talking to you about choosing an online school or signing up for homeschooling.
Yes, they definitely
that's the only way and I'm so glad you said that because you can't get that form. You feel, oh, I'm trapped. I got to keep sending my child to this dangerous situation. No, you don't. You can homeschool. You can sign up with your county. You can sign up with a church umbrella, which usually is a lot more flexible.
Exactly.
There are options. Please feel free to email me and we can talk about options so that you can keep your child home without getting in trouble with your state as well. You do not have to send your child to school.
Definitely.
You are the parent. This is not a dictatorship. You just have to follow some certain protocol that the government requires. And that's just sign up to say you're homeschooling or put them in an online school. Exactly. And there are lots of options, but do not, if you can help it, find that grandma, that auntie, that neighbor, that girlfriend that you trust who's home during the day, have them go to them while you go to work if you have to. Find out if you can work from home. If you can, I want to encourage you.
Please.
Keep your child home.
Definitely. Thank you so much, Anika. The best option that I think is the Living Water School. You can pick whatever option you want, you guys. But I'm just going to tell you the most amazing school that I know is online. We have been online for a long time. If you want to try an online school, other ones are okay. But I know for sure that the Living Waters is the best. So you can call, it's always available. Her and her husband are amazing. You guys will love the school. So definitely, please email Anika. And when I tell you the programs are phenomenal, the teachers are phenomenal, the families and the students are the best. So please give her a call and keep your families and yourself and your child safe. That's the most important thing while
Yes.
getting a wonderful, loving education.
Absolutely.
Everybody, please.
Yes. And we do connect with what's going on in the county too, academically.
Yeah.
So your children will be taking whatever classes, maybe different books, but will be taking their classes as well. So, you know, and it's not worth it. I told someone the other day, I'd rather my child be behind and healthy.
Oh yeah. It's that serious.
It's that serious. Yeah, I'm not afraid of the government. I'm not concerned about everyone doing their back to school pictures.
Yeah, I don't really care about any of
I don't care about that because this virus, for two reasons, it's not safe health-wise, and emotionally it's not safe because your child is going to be a roller coaster all year long.
That's what it's going to be all year long.
It's not worth it.
You're right. You're right. You're so right. So thank you, definitely. And thank you for having that option for me and my family. And I appreciate it. Thank you so much for thinking of us.
Absolutely. Always. Bye, girl.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.